Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hopefully, you all had a good Monday. We are here to recap Monday Night Football. We got NBA Cup tonight, so we're going to talk a little NBA. We're going to talk some season long pickups here as well for your season long leagues. Getting close to the playoffs. Most of my leagues have just two this week and next week, and then we're into the playoffs. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Also got some college basketball tonight, which we can talk about as well. Well, we have college basketball all day, but there's some bigger games later on today. Creighton, San Diego State, I see at 2 o'clock. UConn, Colorado at 3:30. Texas A&M, Oregon at 4:30. I feel like there's some really big games too. Let me see. Houston, Alabama at 8, and then Duke plays Kansas at 9. So Iowa State, Dayton. I mean, that's a good game as well. So yeah, there's some big college basketball games as well. We can talk about that. So we have a lot to talk about today. If you're in the chat, say good morning. Let me know how you're doing. As far as Monday night goes, we'll talk a little bit about the game. It was up and down for me betting. In my blog yesterday, I said I liked the over a little bit. It did go over the point total. Ravens were a big help in that. They did a lot of that work by themselves. I said also that the public was buying low on the Ravens yesterday, and they were very, very popular, and they delivered. They won 30-23. So that score really wasn't that close. I mean, the Chargers scored with under a minute left, so really the game wasn't that close. But that was a big touchdown for people that took the over because I got it to 53 points. Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen this a couple times this season. I feel like, and I've talked about this a couple times, but in the past, we'll say 5 years ago even, it's been a really popular betting system, and honestly, it's been a profitable betting system to just pretty much blind fade the public in spots in the NFL. And I just don't really, I don't think that's the case anymore. I don't have any data to kind of back that up or support it. But at the end of the day, if we look at 5 years ago, 6 years ago, sports betting was not legalized in the United States. So if you were going to place a bet, you either were using, a bookie or you were going offshore. There was really no talk of sports betting on TV, right? Like the NFL was very much, we don't want fantasy football mentioned. We don't want sports betting mentioned. It was a different game. And that plays a part because there was less information available to the public. So historically, when you think about fading the public or you think about public betting trends, the public is uninformed. They're making their decisions based off of the eye test, based off of what they see. Oh, the Chiefs, why are they 3-point underdogs here? Like, we're going to bet the Chiefs, like very, very just base knowledge kind of situations, right? That's what fading the public has been built upon. And that's just not the case anymore. Sports betting's legalized across the country in a number of states. There are massive media conglomerates that dissect games from different betting angles all day, every day. There's just so much information available to everyone out there. So when, you say, oh, the Ravens, they're super public tonight. Yeah, they're super public, but they're the right side of the game, right? Like the Chargers were in a clear sell high spot last night after winning all those games in a row. They had just come off a close win over the Bengals, in which a game that they shouldn't have won, right? I mean, if Evan McPherson makes a field goal in that game, they don't win that game. So it was a clear sell high spot for the Chargers and a buy low spot for the Ravens, right? Coming off a tough loss against the Steelers. They've been better than their numbers kind of suggest, especially on like the defensive end. But the Chargers at the same time, they haven't faced a test either. Like, yeah, I'll give the Chargers credit for beating the Bengals, right? And I think the Chargers are a good team. They're a playoff team. But let's just look for a second at the teams that they've beaten, right? The Raiders, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Saints, the Browns, the Titans, the Bengals. None of those teams that I just named, Raiders, Panthers, Broncos, Browns, Saints, Titans, Bengals. None of those teams, except for the Broncos, are currently in a playoff spot. So even though I like the Chargers and I think that they're a good team and a playoff team, they've only beaten one playoff team this entire season, and it's the Denver Broncos, who occupy the 7th seed in the AFC. So just was a clear sell high spot. So that's why I don't worry much about the public kind of betting trends anymore. Now, can that be useful in instances? Of course, right? Like there's less information available on, the Siena and Jacksonville college basketball game going on than there is on the Ravens and Chargers NFL game. So there are instances in which you can apply betting splits, and even in the NFL, they can be useful, but I would just take it with a grain of salt. I don't think you can just look at betting splits like you did 5 years ago and make picks based off of that. But yeah, overall, I think it was a good game. I still think the Chargers are a good team. J.K. Dobbins got hurt in that game and did not return, so that'll be something to monitor. I'm going to talk about that when I go through the season-long pickups here. But yeah, I think it was a good game. I was wrong on the touchdown prediction. I had Zay Flowers for a touchdown. He did not get in the end zone. Rashad Bateman scored. Mark Andrews scored. So it was just unfortunate. The play before Mark Andrews scored, Zay Flowers was wide open in the back of the end zone, and Lamar Jackson, the pass just got batted down. I think it would have been a touchdown. So, that was kind of a unlucky instance there. But I also had Zay Flowers over 58.5 receiving yards. He did clear that number. So overall, up and down game. I should have bet the Ravens more. I liked the over. I should have just bet the Ravens, but you live and you learn. It is what it is. Quentin Johnston, True Love. I know you're a stream watcher. I don't know if you're in here right now, because I know you watch on Twitch, and I'm not live on Twitch right now, but True Love is an avid Quentin Johnston defender, and I think it's because he's a Chargers fan. I don't know how you defend Quentin Johnston after last night. I mean, what are we doing here? The guy had zero catches, right? The guy had 0 catches for 0 yards on 5 targets. He dropped that wide open pass towards the end of the game. Just terrible. I mean, that guy, man, I know he looks good at times, but I've been a hater of his, and I just don't buy it, man. They need to, I think they hit on their early draft picks last year. They took Joe Alt in the top 10. Looks like a great pick. They took Ladd McConkey in the second round. Looks like a great pick. They still need to prioritize receiver this offseason. The Chargers, that is. Let me see if I can see this. 2025 free agent receivers. Who do we got? I know T. Higgins is a free agent. Who else do we got here? Okay, this is from NFL.com, top 50 NFL free agents. This is not updated because some of these guys have signed. So I'm going to do my best to comb through this real quick. Okay, T. Higgins is at number 7, so there's one. Stephon Diggs, I mean, okay. Amari Cooper, okay. Deontay Johnson, okay. Kind of like the old guys. Chris Godwin, I thought he signed again, but maybe I'm wrong. DeAndre Hopkins. Okay. I don't think this list is updated. Let me see. Okay, this is a better list. Yeah, apparently Chris Godwin is an unrestricted free agent. That's interesting. All right, Stephon Diggs. This is a Spot Track 2025 free agents, wide receiver. Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Williams, Robert Woods, Marquise Brown, Darius Slayton, Demarcus Robinson. Okay, so then we're getting down to the low end here. I don't know. I mean, none of those players are young really, except for T. Higgins and Chris Godwin. I mean, I guess Deontay Johnson isn't super old, but man, he's kind of had a interesting season. How old is he? Yeah, he's 28, so I mean, even that. How old is Chris Godwin? 28 as well. Interesting. All right. Well, I mean, I think T. Higgins is the clear name here, right? But only one team is going to be able to get him. So this might have to be a trade situation. DeAndre Hopkins is old, but of the old players on this list, like I would take DeAndre Hopkins for the Chargers over Stephon Diggs, over Keenan Allen, over Amari Cooper, right? But I mean, he is also the oldest, right? He's 32. Stephon Diggs is 30. Keenan Allen's 32. Amari Cooper's 30. So that would be like a 1 year kind of thing, I think. I don't know. They need to find someone via the draft, trade, or sign T. Higgins. But the Chargers need another receiver to go with McConkey, and I think they're good to go. But man, Ladd McConkey is so good. I hope you guys like could see it last night. I know he didn't have a crazy game, but the guy is just always open. And you could see, I mean, I don't know who tweeted this stat was all over Twitter. You know, Justin Herbert completed like 3 passes throwing to people that weren't named Ladd McConkey, and he threw to like Josh Palmer and Quentin Johnson a bunch of times and only completed 3 of the passes or something crazy. I don't know, but they need a receiver. Both the playoff teams, though, the Ravens, man, their defense has struggled at times, but I still think they're the top team in the AFC. Not named I mean, you have like KC, Buffalo, and Baltimore, right? That's still the big 3 in the AFC. Even though Baltimore clearly has the worst defense of those 3 teams. We'll see how they look in the playoffs. But, I mean, they were missing Roquan Smith last night. That's a big loss for them. And they still got the job done. All right. For season-long pickups, I have this pulled up on my screen on SportWise. I've been telling you guys about this. You can go to rollinginsights.com, go to SportWise, create a free account. You can sync up your fantasy leagues on Yahoo or Fantrax, and you can basically create your own little spread. This is like a spreadsheet, but even better. I have synced up my big league here. It's a $315 buy-in league. I've synced that up. I'm looking at pickups. So I've kind of isolated the free agents here and the players on my team. I am currently in first place in this league. So I'm in first with an 8-4 record. There are 3 teams behind me at 7-5 and 3 teams behind them at 6-6. This is a pretty competitive league. Top 6 make the playoffs. This is actually really competitive because there's even a team in 8th here with 5-7 records. So really there's 8 teams in the mix. 6 make the playoffs. There's 2 weeks left. Anything could go in this league. And it's a pretty big buy-in. I'm 4th in points scored. No, 3rd. I'm basically tied for 3rd in most points. But I'm in first with that 8-4 record. So I need to try and close that gap because there's a prize amount awarded to most points in the regular season. I would like to try and close that gap over these 2 weeks, but it's like a 100-point gap. Not sure if I could make that up. The guys that I'm looking to pick up this week potentially are, there's a couple names. Number 1, and this goes for you guys too, right? I'm doing this so you guys have guys you can pick up in your leagues if you're in the mix. Number 1 for me is down here a ways. Oh, wait, am I a wide receiver? Oh, yeah, I'm on running back too. Okay. Gus Edwards, I think, is going to be an interesting pickup here. We've seen Hassan Haskins come in and take some kind of like goal line work, but I can't tell if that's sticky or not because Gus Edwards did score a goal line touchdown, late in that game last night. Hassan Haskins was mixing in for this goal line work and was getting nothing on it. He kept getting stuffed at the goal line. That was 2 weeks ago. So I don't really know how much that's going to continue. But like I said, last night, J.K. Dobbins left that game. He did not return. If there's any chance that he's missing a game, Gus Edwards is a free agent in this league. I'm going to be putting in a waiver claim on him. I would like to get him on my team, especially on a team that's shown they'll run the ball like the Chargers. Right now, my running backs, I really only have 3 in this league: Devon Achane, Aaron Jones, and Chase Brown. That's kind of my 3 running backs. So I'm going to be putting a waiver claim in on Gus Edwards. For receiver, there's a couple names that stick out to me. One is Noah Brown from the Washington Commanders. Obviously, people know him because he caught that Hail Mary a few weeks ago against the Bears. But I don't know if you guys remember. It was like his first game back, or his second game back, actually. He had a really low prop line. It was like 16.5 yards or something. We took the over. We altered it up, and we bet him to score a touchdown. He easily went over the line, but then he got tackled at the 1. It was almost a huge night. So I kind of like Noah Brown. I think he's a good receiver. He always metrically graded out really, really well when he was on Houston in terms of yards per route run and the stuff that I do value for fantasy points. So I think he's a good receiver. He has actually led the Commanders in targets if you isolate the last 4 games. So if you look at just their last month's worth of games, he has 27 targets. That leads the team. And that's also 10 more targets than Terry McLaurin has over that time. He's a free agent in this league. So I'm going to be looking at Noah Brown as a potential pickup. And then the last guy is down here a ways as well. But we saw Jalen Coker missed this last game for the Carolina Panthers. And David Moore, who you guys remember, I think it was during the COVID year, 2020, he had a decent season. David Moore came in and had 6 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown last week against the Chiefs. If Jalen Coker is a chance to miss more games, and even if he's not, I think David Moore is an interesting pickup in deeper leagues. I don't know if I'll pick him up in this league just because this is a 10-team league, but most people play in 12-team leagues. I do think you could consider David Moore as a strong pickup. He's only averaging about 5 PPR points per game, but that's because, his usage really hasn't been there for the majority of the season. They had Deontay Johnson for a period of that time, and then they do have Adam Thielen back. He came back last week, but like I said, Jalen Coker didn't play, and David Moore had a big game. So Gus Edwards, Noah Brown, and David Moore, those are 3 guys I'm considering picking up in my $300 buy-in fantasy league this week. Let's move on to NBA. And if you guys have any questions, go ahead, drop in the chat. Tomorrow on stream, 11 a.m., I will be doing my full preview for the 3 Thanksgiving Day NFL games. So you guys be sure to tune into that. The replay will be up as well on the YouTube channel. So go to YouTube, search up Rolling Insights. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to try to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube before the end of the year. So we have 1 month until the calendar flips, essentially. We're starting this YouTube from the ground up. So I'd like to try and get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you guys could go subscribe to that channel, it would mean the world to me. NBA tonight. It's NBA Cup. First and foremost, let's give a shout out. We cashed one of our NBA Cup bets already. I wrote up a full preview of the NBA Cup over on the Rolling Insights blog. One of the bets we took was the Golden State Warriors to win their group, and they did do that, and it was plus 230, so a pretty nice little win there. 2-1 odds. So we already cashed one bet. We are working on cashing some others as well. We have outright tickets on the Lakers at 16-1, the Warriors at 16-1, and the Cavs at 10-1. The Warriors are currently 7-1, so we've got some pretty good line movement on that. They're the 3rd favorite to win this behind Boston and New York, and then the Cavs are right there at 8-1 as well. So we have 2 teams at double-digit or higher odds to win this, and we have 2 teams in the top 4 to win this. So going to be watching this tournament closely here throughout the rest of 2024. If we look at the group standings for stuff that has not been finalized yet, we do have a 8-1 ticket on the Detroit Pistons, 8.5-1. It was plus 850 on them to win their group. They are plus 130. So 2 teams have been eliminated in their group. It's down to Milwaukee, Detroit, and Miami. Detroit has already beat Miami, so they hold like a tiebreaker over them, I'm pretty sure. How this would work is Milwaukee plays Miami tonight in Miami, and Miami is favored by 2. We really need the Miami Heat to win this game. Like, if Miami could clutch up and beat the Bucks tonight, that would be huge for us. So I'm going to be looking for that tonight. We also have a ticket on the Lakers to win their group. They are the favorite to win their group, but they play the Phoenix Suns tonight, and they are underdogs. So Phoenix is getting Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal back for this game. The Suns are 8-1 this season when Durant plays, and they're, I think, 1-6 or 1-7 without him. So this has been a stark difference, the team's performance with and without Kevin Durant this season. I am concerned with Phoenix being at home and with Durant back and Beal back that they will win this game. So this is kind of like a conflicting game for me because I have preseason futures on the Phoenix Suns for the regular season, but then I have this like future on the Lakers for the NBA Cup. So I don't know. I might put a bet on Phoenix to hedge our Lakers group bet because we got good odds on the Lakers. It was 2-1. I don't know. I'm going to think about it. Or I might just like watch it and root for the Lakers and look how it. I need to look more into how this will work out if the Lakers lose this game, like if they still have a decent chance to win their group. I'm going to look at that after stream, but I might consider betting the Suns tonight just as like a little hedge, and the fact that they've been so good, with Kevin Durant. That does it for futures, though. Hopefully the Pistons can pull out that plus 850. That'd be really nice. So we need the Heat. We need the Heat tonight bad. In terms of other stuff that sticks out to me, though, the Bulls are still alive somehow in their group, and they play the Wizards tonight. They're pretty big favorites here. Not big favorites, 4.5-point road favorites here. Big total, though, which we've seen. I mean, the Bulls have just been playing so fast. They have the highest total on this slate by 20 points, right? 226. Oh, no, 10 points. So Lakers, Suns, 235 total tonight. Bulls and Wizards sitting at 245. So I'm going to be interested in this game. The Bulls are live still to get out of their group. So I think they'll be motivated here. I would consider a Bulls minus 4.5. And I would consider some Zach LaVine props, I think. So he's been really, really good in terms of scoring the basketball recently, which, I mean, if you know anything about Zach LaVine, that's what he does. He's also been good against the Wizards in his career. His prop line is around 23-ish points. I would consider taking the over there, and then I'm probably going to ladder him up. So I'm going to look at 25-plus points and 30-plus points. You're getting about 3-1 odds on 30-plus points for Zach LaVine tonight. I think that's good. So that's like a big prop spot for me I'm looking at today. Zach LaVine. I might do even like maybe a parlay. You could do Bulls money line with LaVine 20-plus points. That plays plus 100, so double your money odds on that. I might consider something along those lines. Bulls are a big spot for me tonight, though. And then, paying attention to what happens in this Suns-Lakers game and the Heat-Bucks game. But really going to be rooting hard for the Heat in that one. As far as college basketball goes, I have not been betting college basketball really, so I'm not going to be – I don't think I'm going to bet anything tonight. I have been watching, though. There were some really good games yesterday. That Memphis-UConn game was great, went to overtime. Some referees finally stood up to Danny Hurley. They didn't allow him to just berate them over and over again and have no penalty. He got a technical in overtime, and it cost his team the game because they lost by 2 points. So that was good to see. I used to be a big Danny Hurley fan, and I still think he's an amazing coach, but he's a little too over the top for me. And I know he used to be over the top, and it rubbed people the wrong way. I feel like this has all been escalated since he's won back-to-back national championships. Like, I feel like this has inflated his ego even more. And he he takes it to another level now. Like he needs to chill out just a little bit. I'm not saying he should change because that's very much what makes him him and it's what makes the team good, but he doesn't need to take it as far as he does sometimes, especially when you're playing in an early season tournament in Maui, right? Like it's not the Final Four. Just relax a little bit, buddy. So there were some good games yesterday though. Alabama Houston should be really fun. I don't know really what side of that I would lean on. And then Duke, Kansas should be really fun as well. I would probably lean Duke in that one. But I also liked Duke over Kentucky earlier this season. That came back to bite me. I'm just not a huge fan. Like, I think Kansas is one of the 5 best teams in the country, but in a big game, it's still tough for me to trust Hunter Dickinson. And Duke does have the size to kind of match up with him. Like, he can really get in there and bully, and Kansas can bully some teams that don't have the front court to match up with him. Duke does have size. And I think just overall, I think I would trust their scoring a little bit more as well. So I would lean Duke in that game, but that should be a fun one. Auburn, North Carolina tonight as well at 11. Like some really, really big high-profile games today. Overall, though, that about does it. Gave out some NBA bets, season-long pickups as well. Shorter stream today, but tomorrow's going to be a long stream. Make sure you guys tune in. 11 a.m., same time, same place. My Twitter, the Rolling Insights Twitter, the Rolling Insights YouTube. Full preview of all the NFL Thanksgiving Day games tomorrow. And then I will be live on Thanksgiving Day as well, answering last-minute questions. I think kickoff of the first game's at 12:30, so I'll be live like an hour before that, kind of going over some last-minute stuff. But thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to go over to YouTube, follow the Rolling Insights YouTube channel. Let's get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year. Good luck with your bets tonight, and I'll see everybody tomorrow at 11 a.m.